Hi, welcome to December's general meeting. Just quick test with our Zoom folks, if you can hear us or hear me.
Yes, I
Yes.
can.
You can throw, okay, thanks for the thumbs up, much appreciated. 1 second, hold on. I think we have a few mics going. Okay, we're gonna get started since Zoom folks. Let's we're gonna call the meeting to order. We do have quorum. The time is officially 6:45. For folks who joined early on Zoom, thank you for joining us on time. What? You don't have to. They're gonna get the attention real quick. There are XX items. All right. Okay, people are settling down. Thank you. So welcome everyone. Final meeting of the year, the calendar year. Again, thanks for folks who joined early and on time on Zoom, and for folks in person. Today I would like to, I adopted at 6:45, excuse me. So let's make if there a motion to adopt tonight's, excuse me, I actually do have, in regards to tonight's agenda, I do have an edit. So given the timing restrictions that we have here, I would like to have folks refer to the minutes that will be posted on our air table, and replace committee and task force reports with an announcements component. So right after our resolutions, we will hear from announcements. So if there are committee chairs who would like to announce anything that they would be teasing out for their January meeting, that would be the portion in lieu of committee and task force reports. Is there an objection to that edit? Okay. All right. Motion's adopted. Then Darryl first and then second Jim. I didn't hear any objections to the edit. So hearing none, our December agenda is adopted. And thank you once again to Anthony for our November minutes. Is there a motion to adopt those? I need a verbal one. I have Alexis and a second. Second, thank you, Norm Diaz. I needed to hear your voice. I needed to hear your voice, but I saw you. But thank you. All right. I'm gonna spare some time on our chair report because I want to have more numbers for January that we can sit with both at exec and at our general meeting. But again, we do have a tight agenda, so I want to kind of keep things pushing. Just some quick reminders for board members and for our elected reps that are in the room and on Zoom. We have our member gathering and inviting you all, of course, this Thursday at Guadalupe on 207th Street. So please RSVP. And second to that, just again, thanks to folks who have been and want to recognize that a lot of you have been reaching out when you have an unexpected circumstance. We see that, we thank you for that. It's made things for the office and for us a lot easier. So please keep that up, right? You'll get your Zoom links on time. We'll be able to correct your attendance record by you doing that. So definitely keep that up. And then I want to just bring up Jim, who has a parliamentarian piece that to this tonight's report.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Farther.
I talk louder.
You're good. You don't.
Very well. Now you can hear me?
Yes.
Isn't that strange? Well, anyway. At the end of last meeting, you may recall the meeting was adjourned and then it was seconded, and then he changed his mind. And I want to explain all that to you. To begin with, the motion to adjourn is a privilege motion, which means if the majority of us want to, if Catherine starts the meeting and we're just not in the meeting, we just adjourn the meeting and leave. We have that much power as a group. So we have, but that means we have to be careful with this power. Okay, so that's one piece of it. And but again, it's symbolic of the power we have as a group, because we can just decide we are not doing this tonight, you know. Imagine that. The other thing is that and I wanted to define the technical term too, but the is not rescind the motion. Rescinding the motion or rescinding a resolution is actually about a resolution you passed a long time ago and you changed your mind about. You're just pulling it back. But the technicality there is the second that the motion is seconded, that moment, it's no longer Domingo's motion, it's our motion. And so in order for him to take it back, which he can do, the entire group would have had to have a majority vote. So those are the details, and that's sort of what I suspected. We essentially did the same thing. Right? Yeah. She's not impressed.
Just move the spotlight for Tracy.
Berkeley, center stage. So she was reacting to it, that's why.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I didn't think it was that extreme. So that's basically the story. And part of my effort here is as a group, we all as individuals really need to understand parliamentary procedure, and it's not really that complicated. It's got some basic principles and it all holds together very well. Thank you so much. Any questions? Oh, I explained it right. Look at that.
Okay. All right, so that leads us to reports from our elected officials and their representatives. I know somebody has to hop early, so, and I asked if he could go first, so Porfirio, you want to go?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. It's great to be with all of you. I'm sorry I cannot be there in person. I wanted to flag that the Manhattan Borough President, Mark Levine, together with the Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, and City.
Because we're having a hard time hearing you. And just make sure that all the volumes are
Okay.
not there.
Let me know. Can you? All right. My volume's up, so let me put it up a little more. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I didn't get a yes or no. I'm sorry.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. All right, so I just wanted to flag. So let me start with saying my name is Porfirio Figueroa. I am the Deputy Director of Community Affairs for the Manhattan Borough President's Office, Mr. Mark Levine. And together with Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg and City Council Member Keith Powers, they recently published an op-ed spotlighting the relationship between public safety and scaffolding on our city streets. Aside from the eyesore, we all know these sidewalks sheds to be, they are some very real concerns about crime, dangerous activity, and even perceived safety issues, and how that can significantly affect neighborhood quality of life. So to address this, the Manhattan Borough President has collaborated with the City Council to introduce legislation that will make it easier to complete work to get sheds down in a timely fashion, and update the policy on facades of varying materials and more. The full op-ed can be found on our website at www.manhattanbp.nyc.gov. I want to remind everyone that it is capital funding season, so that if you are an organization or a city school entity that is looking for cap funding, you can go on our website, manhattanbp.nyc.gov and /resources, and go to budgets, and you can log on and see what the qualifications are for cap funding on our website. We recently told you that we had reached out to create our second annual Manhattan Future Leaders Fellows. We had a huge amount of people apply, almost 900 people, young people. So we will soon be choosing from that group, and we'll let you know when that process has ended. We also ran a webinar called Local Government, and we hosted that webinar for those who were interested in getting involved at the local level of civic government. And participants heard from community board members, those on education, city councils, and advisory boards, and more. That concludes my report, and I just want to say happy holidays. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here, and I wish you all the best in the next month. Until I see you again. Bye-bye. Oh, one last thing, forgive me. This is very important. There will be significant changes in Medicare come January 2025. So we urge all seniors to check their Medicare plans and what those changes will be. There will be a period of allowing people to do a second change in the early part of the season up and through the mid-March. That does conclude my report. Thank you.
This came up this week, for the leadership trainings, like the required trainings that board members have to do. Is there an attestation? Because I think there was reference in an attestation that we did the trainings, but it's not on the YouTube.
So all the leadership training series should be on the YouTube channel. I actually sent an email this morning with a link to the office. So check that. If you're having problems linking into them or finding them, just get back to me and I'll make sure that I'll send you direct links to all of them. Again.
Most people can find, it's the attestation part of it that we haven't been able.
The videos could be found, but not the attestation. Is there an attestation? We just gotta watch the videos.
Do you mean like clocking whether or not the mandatory ones are done or not? Is that what you're referring to?
It's a sign like, yes, we watched them.
No, so on our end, we will know because if you take the mandatory webinars, it automatically clocks at our office the length that you have stayed on the webinar. So that would be COIB, conflict of interest, and EEO. Those are the 3 mandatory leadership trainings.
Okay. All right. We'll follow up if anything. Thank you.
Great.
All right. Back to stacks. Thanks, Porfirio. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
So we're gonna go back to our in-person. So Noah, and then followed by Jamila on Zoom. You can use this one. I mean, okay, away from you.
Yeah, no, you're good. All right. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. So I just have one legislative update to share on behalf of the Office of the Public Advocate. So on Monday, December 9th, the City Council and the Public Advocate filed a joint lawsuit with the Supreme Court of the State of New York, seeking to invalidate Mayor Adams' emergency executive orders that suspended parts of Local Law 42 of 2024, which bans solitary confinement in city jails. This Article 78 legal finding argues that the mayor's issuance of emergency executive orders 624 and 625, which declared a state of emergency in city jails because of the imminent effective date of the law in order to suspend portions of it, was unlawful, unprecedented, and an undemocratic abuse of his authority that no previous New York City mayor has ever attempted. And one day before Local Law 42 went into effect, the mayor signed the emergency orders, making the historically unparalleled claim, that a law going into effect represented an emergency, even though state law governing emergency powers does not provide justification for such a use. And since the initial issuance of the orders, the mayor has extended the emergency declaration every 30 days and is orders suspending the law every 5 days. So I just wanted to share that legislative update. And again, the City Council and the Public Advocate filed a joint lawsuit seeking to invalidate the mayor's executive orders suspending parts of Local Law 42, which bans solitary confinement in city jails. And besides that, I have nothing else to share, but I'm more than happy to take questions if anyone either in person or remotely has any questions.
But if not, thank you for your time and happy holidays to everyone. All right, thank you.
Back to Zoom. Where's Jamila?
Here.
Oh, there you go. And also for folks who want to speak in public session, members of the public, we got 1 minute to sign up in the chat. Jamila, you can go on ahead. And Jamila's with, well, you can introduce yourself, sorry.
Thank you. Hi, Jamila Sandoval, Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa's office. I'm her Director of Community Affairs and also scheduler. Just wanted to give a quick update as we end the year. As many of you already know, the City of Yes for Housing Opportunity has passed the City Council and will be effective soon. The council member will be chairing a hearing this Thursday in the Civil Service and Labor Committee for 3 different introductions. The first one is to amend the administrative code of the City of New York in relation to improving benefits enrollment processes for city employees. Another resolution calling on the United States Department of Labor to expand the number of occupational safety and health administration authorized outreach trainers in New York City's 10 designated languages. And then a resolution calling on the New York State Legislature to pass and the governor to sign the Good Jobs Guaranteed Act, which would establish certain workforce training programs and increase employment opportunities for New Yorkers. In terms of the community, and we will be hosting this Sunday a holiday giveaway and Christmas concert in collaboration with Uplift New York and Collective for Arts, Music, and Dance at United Palace between 1 to 3 p.m. with other different organizations. And I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of the council member and I to all the community board members, the district team for all their great work this year, all their hard work, for always including us in conversations and always advocating for the community. And just want to end it there. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. And happy holidays and a happy new year. And let's hope that 2025 is way better than 2024.
They see us, we also see us.
Um,
I just spotlighted it to this way.
Oh.
It wasn't for.
Tracy, yeah, poor Tracy. We'll play with it with as folks come on their mic too. I'm on camera, sorry. All right, next up we have Christopher Espinosa from Assemblymember Manny de los Santos' office.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. My name is Christopher Espinosa. I'm the Director of Community Affairs for Assemblyman Manny de los Santos. First and foremost, happy holidays. Great to be here in the community board meeting, the last one of this year. You know, I want to, on behalf of the Assemblyman, we want to give a big thank you to the community board for always being a partner in the community, and also to all the organizations who have collaborated and we partner with the entire year. When it comes to constituent support, our district office has approximately assisted 8,600 community members in this year on a number of issues, including social services, tenant advocacy, and more. Our office has also seen an uptick recently when it comes to helping community members apply for affordable housing through NYC Housing Connect. We complete an average of 160 applications each month. We also have announcements. We have upcoming events. We have an event this Saturday, Magic in Inwood. It is a holiday celebration and toy distribution event. Once again, this is taking place this Saturday, December 21st at 12 p.m. at 210 Sherman Avenue in the community room. This is in partnership with Link. We're gonna have toys, we're gonna have activities, we're gonna have Christmas carols and much more. Another event that we have next month is a mobile mammogram clinic. This is taking place January 18th at Cafe Bloom in Washington Heights. This is in partnership with the American Italian Cancer Foundation. It's important to get screened, to get checked. We're always bringing resources to the community. Proud to be able to host this event in our district. We also have the community board be a co-sponsor of this event as well. Happy to have your partnership. Our district office, we're located at 210 Sherman Avenue. Our office continues to be a resource hub. Monthly services and resources include legal assistance. We have a partnership with the New York Legal Assistance Group, tenant support, helping folks navigate and apply for SNAP benefits and much more. Also, the Assemblyman is gearing up for the upcoming legislative session. If you have any ideas, any inquiries when it comes to legislation, please feel free to reach out to our office. We're always open to listening to new ideas and new perspectives and seeing how we can support at the state level. As always, our office and as the Director of Community Affairs, we're always happy to partner with community organizations. If you would like to partner with us, please feel free to reach out to us. And once again, on behalf of the member, happy holidays and great seeing you all today.
Thanks, Chris. All right, and then last and certain, no, let me double check, but last and certain, now should be Edgar from Senator Jackson's office, so you can come on up.
Hey, good evening, CB12. My name is Edgar from Senator Jackson's office. Not much to report at this time, but of course, if you are seeking support, if you're facing issues with your landlord, of course, you can give us a call. The next 2 weeks, we will be working remotely on Mondays. We will also be remotely working Thursday and Friday on the week of the New Year. So you can always contact us and we'll be answering people back as soon as possible as well. Also, if you want to stay in touch with any announcements that our office has to make, you can look us up you can sign up for our newsletter at signup.senatorjackson.com. And have a happy holidays and happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you. Hold on, I think, here's one. Oh, okay, I just saw Jamina put a question in the chat, but the person that can respond, I think might have left, but the question is towards, Christopher from Assembly Member de Los Santos office on the stance on the closing of the inpatient rehab unit in NYP. Oh.
Yes, I did see the question. I'm actually replying to it. Definitely reach out to us and I'll be able to give more, I'll be able to answer the question, but please feel free to reach out to us.
Okay. Yeah, and just as a reminder, members, please, if you can, or if you can't, just signal for us that we're monitoring the chat as best as we can, but try to unmute when you do have a question because we need it for the record. All right, so we're gonna move on to public session. And you got it. Up to. Let's do in person.
Go ahead and try now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, Zoom people, I'm here from the library. And I just have a couple of little things. Last month, I brought the best books for kids and talked about them all. But I got these beautiful new flyers for best books for teens. So if any of you need last minute gift ideas for a teenager, ask me and I will give this to you, or just have a teenager you want to give it out to. Because it's a great list. But I also wanted to talk about something that's after the holidays, even though it's hard to remember after holidays, but The adult English classes, the registration has been announced for January. Washington Heights is our uptown adult learning center with very many classes, and they do the registration. So I have that information here. It's the end of January because for a February through April semester. Inwood Library at the same time is going to be starting something really exciting for that I think is going to be really exciting. A conversation class for beginning English speakers, which is a very hard thing, and there have been a lot of demands for. So that sign up will be around the same time that Inwood Library. And happy holidays, everybody.
Perfect, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take a moment. Yeah, I'll take. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. The next speaker is Mary Lady Pimentel from WeAct. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here in person. Let me move the camera. I come here from my name is Maria Pimentel. I am the wedding organizer of WeAct. And I'm going to invite to our membership meeting, young minds member meeting, where it's open to the public. And we're going to have Northern Manhattan Assembly members and state senators to discuss the key action item for 2025 and way to address the environmental concern in our community. It's going to be January 11 in the police hall, 454 Street at 10 a.m. So thank you so much. And happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you. And our last in-person speaker is Liz Ritter, speaking regarding the Herbert Irving Cancer Center.
Hi, my name is Liz Ritter. I am a member of the Herbert Irving Comprehensive Cancer Care Center Community Advisory Board. We meet quarterly. We learn interesting things about what's happening in the world of cancer research here. And at our last meeting last week, I learned about lung cancer, which many of you may or may not know is the deadliest form of cancer. And one of the reasons why it is the deadliest form of cancer is that there isn't the same kind of early detection for lung cancer that there is for breast cancer, for colon cancer, for prostate cancer, for other kinds of cancers that would be just as fatal if you caught them at stage 4, but we're catching those cancers at like stage 2, 1, and even 0. So with this really interesting new technology, a lung cancer screen, not unlike mammography, but for your lungs. It's a mobile van. It's going to start going to service, I believe, I forget if they said January or February. There's very specific criteria for qualifying for this, but if you've got 20 pack years, like you smoked a pack a day for 20 years, or 2 packs a day for 10 years, or a half a pack a day for 40 years, you do the math. And if you're over 50 and there's no other qualifying thing, you can potentially qualify for this screening. It's really important with the deadly cancer. If you want more information, talk to me. There's a very long URL for the website that has more information. Let me know if you're interested.
Is it a clarifying question?
Oh,
Yes.
you have a question?
Clarifying question. What would those pack a day be in marijuana?
I don't know.
With the URL. So I'm gonna think about that too.
Yeah.
Love that.
Thank you. So we will now turn to the virtual public session. We have 5 speakers. The first is Roberto Lopez. I'm going to give you permission to speak, and then you'll have 2 minutes. You should be able to unmute yourself.
My name is Roberta Lopez, and I wanted to find out any update about the inpatient rehab unit in Columbia closing.
So names on the agenda for this evening to be voted on. You do have a little less than 2 minutes to provide any comment. If you do, otherwise we'll move on to the next public speaker. Okay, thank you. So we will move on. The next public speaker is Ivy Vega, also speaking regarding New York Presbyterian. Ivy, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm here to address the proposed changes to the inpatient rehab unit at NYP Columbia. In response to community feedback, the hospital now seeks Department of Health approval to convert 11 rehabilitation beds to medical surgical beds, leaving only 5 beds for rehab patients. While this revision to the proposal may seem like a compromise, it will still significantly impact disability rights and access to essential services. In fact, the SACS policy group, which conducted an independent health equity assessment, found that this decision will negatively impact health equity, and they advise that the hospital reconsider their decision. Downsizing to 5 beds will also result in non-compliance with regulations set by agencies such as the Joint Commissions and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Non-compliance will effectively ensure the closure of the unit, which appears to be the ultimate goal for the hospital. Reducing the unit to 5 beds will additionally limit the intensity of therapy and range of services offered, negatively impacting patient outcomes and quality of life. These consequences will disproportionately affect low-income individuals, racial and ethnic minorities, older adults, and people with disabilities. We continue to demand better from NYP Columbia. The community has repeatedly asked for transparency and genuine engagement with stakeholders. Reducing the inpatient rehab unit without these considerations is unacceptable and will have far-reaching consequences for our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for that. And by the way, for all the speakers speaking with respect to New York Presbyterian, that addresses resolution A on tonight's agenda. The next speaker is Roger DeBoer. I'm going to give you permission to speak, and then you'll have 2 minutes.
Hi, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. I'm trying to get on video, but I don't think that works, so I'll do it without. So I was a patient myself at Columbia Presbyterian and the rehab unit over the summer. I ended up with a bleeding in my spine that pressed on the spinal cord, and after surgery, I was basically paralyzed from the waist down. So as you can imagine, pretty scary. Look, I was lucky enough that over the next 4 weeks that I spent in the hospital, I got a lot of my motor function back very slowly. I spent that last week there in the inpatient rehab unit, basically learning how to stand and walk again and take care of myself. As you probably can imagine, right, it's a life-changing event, and it is extremely stressful to go through that, not knowing what the hell is going on, right? And I was extremely worried when we had a conversation with the nurses and the doctors about what rehab unit would you go to, right? The Columbia unit is 10 blocks from my house, so it's very close, but they gave me options all the way downtown or even in New Jersey, right? So as you can imagine, it was a massive load off my shoulder to be able to stay in-house, right, in Columbia Presbyterian, 10 blocks from my home, so my wife could visit me 3 times a day, so my family could visit me. So look, in short, I think it would be a massive mistake to reduce the number of beds in that unit or close it down. I think it's a fundamental part of the recovery process of every patient. It helps you focus on healing, which is the only thing that matters. And having to be worried about what place do I go next? How do I get there? How do my family visit me? Is just, you know, something you would not want to worry about as a patient there going through that event. And the general floor in the hospital is not suitable for that. It's not suitable in any hospital for rehab, right? You need a specialized unit for that. So I would say, right, I think it would be a mistake to reduce the number of beds or to close down the unit. The people who are working there are amazing. They have changed my life. They've saved my life. They've helped me recover. The nurses are amazing. The doctors are amazing. The physical therapists and the occupational therapists are amazing. And I think it will be again, a massive mistake to change anything on that. Like, honestly, I would even say you need to expand it because it's not enough beds as it is. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you for that. Our next speaker is Elizabeth Starsivit, speaking about J. Hoodwright Park. You should be able to speak and then you'll have 2 minutes.
Good evening. Thank you. I went to Carmen de la Rosa and the members of the city council get extra funding for various projects. And then what happens is the community has to suggest projects. Earlier in the project proposal sessions proposed that some of the funding go to fixing Highbridge Park, the pool itself. They've basically taken off the children's pool, and we desperately need the children to learn how to swim. And there is really just a farcical use of the children's part of the pool to be like a cabana in Florida. But while I was at these meetings, I also was interested to hear that there were proposals for J. Hood Wright. And since I'm a frequent user of J. Hood Wright, I just think that we have to be able to more clearly see where the budget is, and we have to be more clearly able to. It can't just be a gift to the various politicians, but rather this is part of how do you keep a neighborhood in good shape, just as this absolutely legitimate request that the hospital be able to serve the members of the community, our parks in all kinds, be it the pool, be it the park area, has to be able to serve the community. And so what am I asking you folks for? I'm asking you folks to fight harder for a larger budget allocations. And I know that's a sort of well, it's probably what everybody says, but it doesn't matter because it's a legitimate request. And I hope that in the future, there's more clarity on who would like to take what project and how we can proceed ahead and be helpful on them. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Jamila, I see you have your hand raised if you wanted to respond to that since she mentioned Carmen de la Rosa's office.
Oh, normally we don't do that.
Sorry.
But I would say she could put her email in the chat.
Yeah, Jamila, if you could put your contact information in the chat for that speaker, that would be great.
Says the chat is disabled.
Yeah, for the panelists, they'll be able to answer in the chat, and then you can open it and see what the hosts and panelists put. Okay, the final speaker of the night is Rita Homburg, also speaking with regards to your Presbyterian. You should be able to mute yourself and you'll have 2 minutes.
Hello, everyone. So I used to be the site director for rehabilitation therapies, and I proudly help shepherd the 16-bed unit, which is acute inpatient rehab, to have the highest level of accreditation that there is internationally. So it is an extraordinary unit. The patients there are very complicated, as you heard from the previous patient. They also include stroke patients, transplant and cancer patients that are actively being treated. And patients get 3 hours of therapy a day, 6 days a week. PT, OT, and speech therapy. And in addition, they get rehab nursing and recreation therapy, and they have rehab doctors around the clock. So I would like you to know that the therapists that you have at NYP Columbia are among the most skilled and experienced therapists anywhere. And they and I, even though I'm retired, we can offer you, the hospital, suggestions on how to reduce the length of stay in Milstein with the medical surgical beds so that there is more throughput. So instead of adding beds, you could free up your beds safely and add more patients from the emergency room. There are processes that have been proved to be effective. We just need to be able to speak to the powers that be to give those suggestions. And finally, The emergency room, while I was the site director there, we put therapists in the emergency room and patients were treated then and there. We need more therapists in the emergency room because they were only there for day shifts. We would need longer shifts. We'd need 7 days a week. But patients can either be discharged from the emergency room and go right to outpatient care, or at least they could be stabilized and then go over to Milstein and continue to get therapy over there. So those are two solutions right there to help reduce the tension that they're feeling in the emergency room and in Milstein.
Thank you so much. That is the end of your time and the end of the public session.
All right, thanks everyone. Had a schedule. All right, so we're gonna jump onto, for folks from the public, particularly on our, for those of you who are on Zoom, at the bottom is a resources tab. I wanted to highlight that. And there you'll see a link to, links that say meeting materials, and that takes you to our website. So there you can review all of the resolution items, including item A around the rehab unit. And it's our second resolution on it, and then 24 resolutions on licensing that includes SLA liquor licensing, that includes New Year's Eve and all-night permits. So we're going to right now bring on up our nominating committee. It is our annual election, so we're going to take a break from our agenda items to do board business. You can feel free to hang on tight, especially if you want to hear in terms of like where the vote will land for the reso. So we'll do the nominating committee, wrap that up, and then we'll bring up Steve or Elsie from the Health and Environment Committee and our licensing committee, and then we vote. So it'll be kind of like an intermission for folks who are antsy for our items. But come on up. Up to you. You could sit. Thank you. I don't know if you want to stand. You can sit. We're just gonna stand. Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Tonight, we're going to be voting on our new executive board, whose term will run from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025, per the bylaws. At our last meeting, we reviewed the election process, eligibility, and finalized the list of candidates. For the sake of time tonight, because we have a long list of resolutions, I will not be repeating that information. But if you have any questions about the process, eligibility, or anything else, please feel free to find me after the meeting. I'm happy to answer those questions. Before we actually get started, I'd like to share a few brief updates since our last meeting in November. Starting with Daryl Cochran, who was previously running for second vice chair, has withdrawn his candidacy. Tracy McNeil, who was running for assistant secretary, has also withdrawn. As a result, we only have one candidate for the second vice chair. Previously, we had two, and we have currently no candidates for assistant secretary, which means that tonight we're going to be opening the floor for nominations for the position of assistant secretary. Give me one quick second, and we'll get back to that. So in order to ensure an efficient process, the nominating committee has agreed on the following rules. So I'm just going to list those, and then we'll get started and I'll answer some of your questions. For any position where there's only one candidate, the nominating committee will ask that candidate 2 questions related to the position. The candidate will have up to 2 minutes to answer each question. Following the candidate's answer, members of the board may ask only clarifying questions. So not new questions, but only questions that are clarifying or as a follow-up to whatever they've answered. There's only one candidate for all the positions except for assistant secretary, which is currently vacant. For positions where there are 2 candidates, and that would only really be for assistant secretary, that is if we have any nominations and 2 people happen to accept, and then we'll have 2 candidates for assistant secretary. We'll see how that goes. The nominating committee will ask the candidates also 2 questions, and each candidate will have up to 3 minutes to answer each question. Similar to before, members of the board will have an opportunity to ask only clarifying questions. Paper ballots will be distributed during the questions portion. A lot of you already have received those when you walked in. I know James was going around handing those out. If you don't have one, once we're done answering questions, I'll just ask and I'll make the announcement again. So please put up your hand so that we make sure that you have a paper ballot in your hand. For board members who are excused and approved to attend this meeting remotely, a link to an electronic ballot will be emailed to you. I have made a list of those who I saw online. Anthony, thank you for that information. I'll make sure that we confirm that right before we get to vote. The electronic ballot will close 15 minutes after it is open, and I'll make the announcement for that. And please note that ballots are only available to members who are either present in person or have been excused or approved to attend remotely. Lastly, just want to note that the ballots today, they're private, but after tomorrow, they will be made available. So any member who actually wishes to see the results will contact the office to arrange an in-person viewing any day after tomorrow. Great. Jim, did you want to clarify anything for that?
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Now I know not to get too close. Although there's only one person for running for each office, you have to vote for them if you want them. Basically, the Soviet Union does the same thing. They only have one candidate, but you can vote no. Now there, it might not be a good idea, right? In the former Soviet Union. But so that's number one. The second thing is, as of tomorrow, all the election records will be open, not just to board members, but to the entire public. So, you know, we're not, the city charter forbids community boards from having secret ballots. So to have a little privacy tonight, so we don't embarrass people, we have this written ballot thing, but as of tomorrow, all the information will be totally public. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, I saw the 2 questions. Liz? Was that it? Okay. So we will now open the floor for nominations for the position of Assistant Secretary. Do we have any nominations? I see Liz's hand. Okay. This doesn't need to be second, so I'll just go ahead and ask Daryl. Daryl, do you accept the nomination? Sure. Okay. Are there any other nominations for Assistant Secretary? No. Okay. So we have Daryl for Assistant Secretary. In the ballot, in your paper ballot, you would have seen that I left that blank in the event. There's a line. I left it blank in the event we didn't know who would be nominated, or in the event that there were no nominations. So when you are voting, just add Daryl's name on it. If you don't know his last name, just put Daryl. But if you don't know how to spell it, you can just put Daryl. So just try your best. We know who it is because we know that there's only one nominee and one candidate for this position. Any questions before we actually get started? Okay, wonderful. So now I'm going to leave it to the rest of the nominating committee. We're going to ask some questions, starting with Assistant Secretary. So. Yeah. Sure. You can stay up here. You want to, you can stand there however you want. Fine. Go ahead. And the candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question.
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm aware of these, does this work? And it works for them, yeah.
Can everyone hear us? Yes, no? Okay, Elvis Fernandez, member of the nominating committee. I'll be asking Darryl 2 questions. Darryl, what ideas do you have to enhance collaboration with the secretary in managing board attendance and communication?
Well, not having heard these questions until today, but yeah, that's a great question. I think Alexis and I have worked together. So, she was a public member a long time now. So yeah, I think and because I was also nominations committee chair a few years ago, I really dug deep into attendance and learned a lot of things there in that role. So, I think with that and just being on the executive committee the last year or so, understanding the importance that it is for not just the executive board, but also each individual committee chair, and having attendance for their committee meetings as well. And I would hope that we're able to enhance that and set expectations better for individuals.
Thank you. Questions? Any questions? All right. I'll be asking the next question now. Do you feel prepared and confident to step into the role of secretary if needed, and why?
Well, I'm glad that it's a filled position for this purpose today. But yes, if that happens, I think I did do a bit of that at the end of this last session with the first vice chair role, but stepping into that. So yes, I'm certainly prepared for that, should that be the case.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any
Any
clarifying questions? No, wonderful. Thank you so much, Daryl. You can put the mic down. And now we'll move. Is Leo on?
I do not believe he is
We can
on.
move to Alexa.
Alexis, step forward.
I'm on. Thank you.
Oh, Leo is Leo on?
Hello?
1 second, we're gonna ask you the questions next. We're gonna ask Alexis a few questions now, okay? Sure. Thank you. Can you share your contributions to the board and explain why you're interested in serving as secretary?
I've been a public member for about 4 years, before I came to be an appointed member. This is my second year going on as vice chair of Parks and Culture, my second year in business development. I work closely with the chair of both business development and park, and chair meetings. I take the minutes, and I want to serve my community further. And that's why I do it.
Thank you. Any questions? No? All right. How would you improve attendance tracking and follow up on board member attendance issues?
Mine has been a great push and it's been quite improved, but I would like to take it a little step further and track attendance and call members, et cetera, every 3 months. So instead of doing it once a year, I would bump it up.
Thank you. Any questions, any clarifying questions, excuse me? No, thank you very much. Oh, she did. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. What was your question? Okay.
He suggested that the members of the public will be able to see some information after today. So to the extent that they can stand the elections, exactly what will the public see and they go there tomorrow.
I can answer that at the end. In short, they'll just be able to see the ballots if they wanted to.
How people voted.
Or they'll see the results, yeah, and how people voted.
Yes, that's probably that. Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Sorry guys, I just got on the train, so I apologize about that.
Time?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear you? What time? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, Leo. What's your good fit for the treasurer role, and what sparked your interest in the position? You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you, and I apologize for everyone for not being able to attend tonight. I just finished coaching a basketball game. I am a basketball coach on the side. So I am the chair of the Traffic and Transportation Committee. And being the chair, I've been blessed and to have experience working collaboratively with the board and its members, stakeholders, agencies, and elected officials to address community needs through advocacy and action. So my interest in the treasurer role stems from my passion for bridging gaps in communication amongst our community and marginalized residents. I feel like often they're overlooked due to language or cultural barriers, feeling included and aware of the board's work. So I want to make sure as I come into the role, not only do I continue the transparency that we've had in the last few years, but that we somehow take this money and allocate some of the funding to being able to promote outreach so that we can bring the other side to our table.
Thank you. Any questions?
Can you be on camera?
Are you?
I'm the subway, probably
It will be great to see all the candidates on camera.
You have a member who's asking if you're able to be on camera, if you're able to turn your camera on.
Yes, hold on. I'm walking to my car, so yes. Oh, it's a little dark.
On here?
Yeah.
There we go.
You
got it?
Yes.
Remove spotlight.
Oh, I see.
But I don't see.
Let me turn on there.
Hi, Leo. We all seeing you now.
Hey guys, how are you?
Thank you. All right, I'll be moving to the next question.
Sounds good.
What financial management strategies would you propose to ensure transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility in handling the community board's budget and resources? You have 2 minutes.
Okay, so just want to say that I think that the board, especially the executive board, has been pretty transparent the last few years. I've been on the board for 5 years. So I look closely to continue working with the board office and the executive committee to continue to establish clear reporting processes and host collaborative budget planning sessions, ensuring that all members, new and current, can provide input on funding priorities. Like I said earlier, I continue to advocate for transparent financial reporting, committee-based budget recommendations to align resources with community needs. My biggest, I guess, take from this is going into it. I want to make sure that we take allocated funds and broaden our outreach. Being on the board for 5 or 6 years, and you often meet people, and a lot of people don't know what the board is or what the board does. And I think that's an area of opportunity. I think that's something we should bring to conversation, and just bring the money to provide that outreach to bring these people and promote inclusivity and trust.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? No? All right. Thank you, Leo. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right. I'll be moving on to our second vice chair now, Tanisha Grant. Just 1 second. All right. Hi, Tanisha. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Reflecting on your time in the community board, what skills have you acquired that help you perform effectively as a second vice chair?
Well, I don't think it's so much as what skills I have acquired, but what skills that I have used to build community among people on the community board and be able to use the resources that I have in my everyday life in my community to make sure that we're uplifting it here at the community board. So, you know, sometimes it's not about the skills you learn, but the skills you bring. So that would be my answer.
Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions? Okay, I'll move on to the next question. 1 second. How do you plan to support the chairperson and first vice chair in building a cohesive leadership team?
I think that one skill of being a leader is being able to support leaders, right? So with Kathy being chair, me as second vice chair, I would support her and the first vice chair any way that I could. I'm a good person for resources. I'm a good person for networks, and being on the community board for the last year and a half, I see how our chair moves. So I would definitely bring my strengths and my resources to make sure that I'm supporting her as chair and supporting the whole board as a community board.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Liz, yes.
Yeah, I love Tanisha's point that it's not just about what you, have learned being on the board, but the skills that you bring, that you already had. And, for those of us who maybe don't know Tanisha as well, if you could just tell us a little bit about what those are.
Thank you so much, Liz, for your question. So one of the skills that I bring is that I'm already a community organizer. I know a good portion of people that's in the community, and not only do I lend my services to them, I lend my services to our elected officials. I have a lot of partnerships. I'm also I would say a professional volunteer. Because I am disabled, it allows me to spend the extra time to advocate and to learn things that's very important to bring here to our community board and to our chair. I'm on a grant writing committee. It's the first that's ever happened in New York State. Philanthropists have given me and 4 other impacted people, lived experience people. That means I have lived experience in mostly everything that we are advocating for on the community board. If we're talking about housing, if we're talking about being separated from my family, if we're talking about being a survivor, I have experience in all of that. And I use my expertise to help not only my community, but I've used my expertise on the community board. So I'm, like I said, I'm one of the people that, you know, people like JP Morgan and the Doris Duke has Foundation has given $1.4 million to allocate money to community board organizations, because I am a person that is affiliated with a lot of the people on the ground. So the experience that I have, the grassroots experience that I have is invaluable, and I don't mind sharing it with the world, Liz.
Thank you very much. All right, any other questions? Clear? All right, we'll be moving on to the next position. The next position is first vice chair, and Anthony is a candidate for that office. Hello. Oh, James Bosley, member of the nominating committee. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry. He needs to just not let me do that quickly. Let's put, all right, here we are. Thank you, James.
Thank you. All right, Anthony, if you have to step into the role of chair for any reason, do you feel prepared or confident to take on the responsibilities, and why?
So first, thank you to the nominating committee for all of your work this year. To answer the question, yes, I do think I would be prepared if needed to step into the role of chair. Obviously, we have a fantastic chair. Over the last year being secretary, I've had a lot of opportunities shadowing her and getting to know exactly what the role would require. I've learned a ton from Kathy about working with different committee chairs, how to handle very nuanced issues that come up from time to time, whether from within the community or with the board. And so because of that experience and the experience I have serving along all of you as secretary, I do think I would be able to fill the role.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, next question. As a thought partner to committee chairs and chairperson, how would you approach coordination between committees to ensure alignment with the board's priorities?
So one thing I didn't realize I would learn from being secretary is about all of you. And really getting to know each individual member and what they need, and just understanding different aspects of every person, what committees they serve on, what interests them, what inspires them. Because of that, I feel like I've gotten to know a lot about how the different committees operate. I would take it a step further as first vice chair. I think one goal I have going into the new year is to attend more committee meetings. So I would have a goal of attending at least one meeting of each committee per half year. This way I'm on the ground listening to what's happening, going beyond just reading the minutes, you know, you can only learn so much from the minutes, actually hearing what each member of each committee has to say and what sparks them. And more importantly, also listening to what priorities they have and making decisions about where to attend, what to do based on those priorities. And with that, I can bring that back to the rest of the e-board, either executive committee or other forums and sort of set priorities that way.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? All right, very good, thank you. All right, Madam Chair, there you are. Hello. All right, here's first question. New challenges are emerging in our district. In your opinion, which do you see as the most pressing? And how would you address them?
I wrote up the notes, sorry. So I actually think some of the challenges of what's pressing is really kind of like the more complex layers in terms of the agencies and how issues have evolved. I feel like a lot of the issues are kind of the core issues that we've always faced, I think, as a district. So, you know, safe and affordable housing is always one. You know, the quality of the services that we receive, like whether that's Con Ed or healthcare or SNAP benefits, for example. And so I think what is pressing for us as a body and like within our own scope is how close and consistent we can like keep beating the drum and how effective we're able to amplify our voice on those issues. I think particularly, we don't, you know, a lot of folks don't know what's expected in this year. What effect that's gonna happen with the city. So our city systems are going to continue to evolve in this year in terms of our elected and our reps. So I think it could be a confusing time, what could present even more challenges on the issues that we face. But I think really us as a board is how do we hone in the unity that we have, the agreements that we have at the body, on our collaboration with our office, how we communicate with our agencies. So it's really about kind of like honing in on our strengths and being able to kind of continue to amplify those voices and those needs so that it doesn't fall under the radar, particularly, you know, I think of as an example, like in China, potentially, right? We're going to have an update from EDC and DCP around inward rezoning, and I think there's a lot of fear developments based on AMIs, which is, you know, not in our control, but we able to proper stakeholders in the world is then I think that's something that we can definitely keep going.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Ms. Ritter.
Not sure if this is a clarifying question. Do you have opinions on changing the bylaws to remove term limits for the chair?
That's not a clarifying question.
2 more years.
No, I'm so sorry, that is not a clarifying question.
All right, last question. How do you plan to collaborate with the district manager to improve communication with city agencies, follow through on resolutions, and strengthen overall coordination within the office?
I feel like the entire scope of question two has been what I've dedicated, I think, most of my tenure to. Because there were a lot of gaps in understanding that like work along with you, and so very rare. Usually, our research so very close with the office with the district manager and the office staff. And observing and understanding how the operation operates. So it's also something that we will talk to the chair, so
And no retention, whether in puts on chairs, no benches, communicate over emails in terms of being with one person. You know, while every office is different, what works best, what do we approach as we're looking kind of going in. And I was really has started being a thought partner and, you know, resolving what I think actually many times are constraints that the office has. But many times those are resource constraints, right? Besides just staffing, it's also the culture of the office, it's also infrastructures that, and support like the office has and being able to navigate those. So it's just being able to kind of, I think in this next year, being able to scale that up. I think there's been a lot of work that we said something and kind of this, I'm not even able to patients and collaboration from standards.
Thank you, thank you. Are there any questions? Yes.
Biggest challenge, during your current term and in your next term, how do you, intend to navigate that?
Challenge. I guess it's not really busy travel.
Do you want to answer that? That's not a clarifying question.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, you can answer it.
Try to go through the first and the second, I think the time was roughly around this time. So.
We can't hear.
The whole thing.
We hear none of that for like the last 3 minutes.
Okay, then let's just, yeah.
Yep, it is picking up.
Wait, can you pause? Can you hear anything? No.
Now we can hear. Now we can hear.
Oh, I think I was too close to the mic. Sorry. I'll quickly say the question from Paul was, what do I see as the challenge? I think the challenge is time. There's a million things that we all want to do. And we all got our own lives and busy things. And so being able to align on one within e-board, but also the membership as whole, right? Because it's not just elected officers, it's knowing how to pull in people who can work on some of those projects. So whether that's like social media, whether that's the community events that we want to attend and knowing who and when to pull in at the right time, I think is the task and really like my homework, right? Making sure that I know like, hey, you know, Carmen loves to go to an event and she's down the table. Can I get that to her in time? So making sure that alignment and constant cycle of communication is happening is important.
That is your time, thank you. Any other clarifying questions only?
And just to clarify what clarifying means, It is a follow-up to something she has already mentioned or related to the question,
All right,
not a brand new question.
thank you, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, James. All right, y'all, can we just get a round of applause for all of our candidates? So thank you all for, yes, I was gonna, so that, we appreciate the shout out, Nobles. Thank you so much, James, Darby, Eleazar, and Erwin. It's been really wonderful serving with you. Thank you for taking your time, answering questions today. Please raise your hand if you do not have a paper ballot and you are in the room. Darby is gonna, and paper ballots only for board members. If you don't have it, just keep your hand up, please, until Darby reaches you and gives you a paper ballot.
Also happy to take a ballot, sign in and so that we can track how many ballots are out.
Thank you.
The next company, more ballots than
Thank you, James. A link to the electronic ballot is going to be emailed to the board members online. I'm just gonna quickly just say the names that I have. I may not have been able to capture everyone. If you do not hear your name, just unmute yourself, please, and let me know. Marielle, Hector, Robin, Tanisha, Indiana, Barbara, Jamina, Tracy, Chris, John, Leo, and Jonathan. Did I get everyone online?
Yes.
Wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and
Yes.
start now, and I will close it at 8:15. Just so you know, so it has already been sent. That will be sent to the email that you have associated with the community board office. So whatever email that is the email that I have and sent it to.
Carmen, I commend you and the nominating committee. You guys did great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you have any issues reaching a ballot, I already emailed that out, please let me know. All the questions are required. One more thing I want to mention, for those of you who are filling out your paper ballots, please make sure that your name is on it and just sign underneath it. So we could make a real official tissue. Jim, you wanted to add something?
It's always one of those things, if you, there are two places to check. One of them is abstaining. If you don't write anything, we're assuming you're abstaining anyway. So if you want to vote for the person, you have to check, that you're in favor of the person, otherwise you're not. And to be elected, one needs a majority of the people, of the votes of the people voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Carmen,
Yes.
my ballot says that this survey is currently closed.
Nope, it is open. Let me just refresh. 1 second. Here comes the tech issues. All right. Oh, just kidding. Open. It is open. I have refreshed. Please try again. And thank you for letting me know, Tracy.
Yeah, okay, try now.
Open.
It still says it's closed.
I just opened it. 1 second. Go ahead, Jim.
This is not a secret ballot anyway. If you can't vote electronically, you will call us probably on the cell phone and you will tell us who you're voting for. That's a valid way of voting as well. Thank you.
Will you please try again? Yeah.
Thanks for your name. Please try next to your name or pondering anywhere on the ballot, you have some time.
And then I just want to mention one last thing, please. Once you're done, just raise your hand. Someone from the nominating committee will collect the ballots and then we'll head over to the back to tally the votes. We will make the announcements at the end of the board meeting. Thank you all for showing up and doing this.
Oh,
It's still not open because it says open here. No?
Could you resend the link? Maybe it will reset it that way.
In the meantime, I'm just gonna put the next resolution.
Do we need to create Survey Monkey accounts?
No, you shouldn't.
You should, Carmen's saying no, you shouldn't. Is it asking you for?
Yes, it's taxed for creating an account.
when you click on the link.
Hold on, she's working on her laptop on the side. Let me just, hold on. All right, just if it's okay with folks, while Carmen's figuring out Survey Monkey, she could interrupt me at any point. We're gonna go on to our next item, which is a rehab unit. Rezo, again, this is the second Rezo. I'm just gonna quickly screen share it. Like I said, it is on our website. Our first one was, of course, in opposition. Yeah.
Hi, do we let everybody follow? Yes? Okay, thank you.
Oh, perfect. I was gonna ask if you wanted to speak on it. Oh, okay. I mean, I think real quick, again, we voted in opposition to the closure of the beds. As we've heard in the public session, NYP has come out with a resolution basically saying that they will keep half of the beds at the rehab unit. Half, less than half, excuse me, the number.
16.
5 out of 16. Sorry, I'm putting it up. Yeah. Is it for this? Okay, yes, I just put it up, the whereases, and then the resolve is essentially saying that the Health and Environment Committee is against the plan. Yeah. We will listen.
You know, I think it speaks to our power that and to the community outcry that the hospital came out with their plan B. But maybe I'm missing something. I don't really think, what is there to discuss? Like closing this unit? Keeping 5 of them is better than closing all of them, but frankly, having fewer than 16 of them, I think is a terrible idea. And I don't really think there's much to discuss here. I'm grateful for your work and I'm 100% behind this reso, and I hope that everybody votes in favor of this reso as well.
So, to answer your comment, some of us felt at the discussion on the committee level, we felt that at some point the hospital may come back and said, you know what, there is no point of keeping even 5 because it's meaningless. So right now, some of us feel that may be an intermediate kind of stage to calm everyone down. Hey, we still have 5 beds. So just Domingo.
I think it's also like this, trying to bamboozle people, you know what I'm saying, like, one of the previous people who spoke on how that would take away their state compliance, reducing the amount of beds, right? So it's also like using this notion of like, trying to out, like, hey, you know what, we're gonna have to close it because we're out of compliance. So anything that has to be recommended, has to be in accordance with the current compliance rules for them to be able to maintain that space is also something, and not try to undermine the community by just saying, hey, you know what, we're gonna give you 5, but 5 a year from now, oh, that's not, we're out of compliance, we're gonna have to close. So I think it also has to be as a message has to be sent to in the resolution where we also encourage a good kind partnership as well, not constantly trying to undermine the process by creating a relationship of manipulation. I feel that's just
So the 3 resolves, as you can see on the board right now, one of them is actually addressing what you're saying, Domingo. So I just want to finish the sentence.
I didn't read it, so
Oh, okay. I mean that we want the hospital to rescind that
Because what they're doing, they're asking for special permission to only have those 5 beds, right? So, and we are asking the Department of Health, the State Department of Health, to absolutely not approve something like that, right? And finally, we are asking the State Department of Health and government officials to work together to find another solution. Not to take away from rehab beds, find another solution. And at some point, some of us, or maybe it wasn't me, I don't remember, said, you know what? You may be sitting in a really nice fancy office. Shop your office.
Oh, it's still saying that.
No, it's open now. I sent it.
Okay.
So.
Hold on, Indiana had her hand since earlier on this item, so I want to make sure Indiana.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to stress, I think it's maybe extra here, and I know we're short on time, but I just really wanted to stress the importance of having these beds in our community. I became a wheelchair user in 2021 during the pandemic and did not have access to not just this facility, even though it was the ER and the hospital where I received my initial care. I didn't have access to these beds. I ended up having to do my inpatient therapy outside of the city, which required my family to commute outside of the city, to rent cars, to find, hotels and places to stay. And we were lucky to be able to do that, but most of our neighbors cannot. And so just again, like to the extent that it helps, I'm ready to come in and speak and really advocate for them. And I agree with the fear that this, like, oh, we'll do 5 this year, that it puts us at further risk for cutting next year. And so I also support the edit calling on them to establish a partnership with us, because they're building all these new facilities and it's going to attract more patients and more doctors and more attention, but it can't be at the cost of meeting the existing need in our community. Thank you.
All right, thanks, OC and everyone. All right, Isidro, come on up. Folks, Carmen resent the link, so again, if it's still an issue, okay, Tracy says it worked, awesome. All right, thank you, Jonathan.
Well, hello, everyone. Very few to report from licensing. However, we are reversing agenda item number 8 from a positive to a negative, because they failed to submit some documents as requested by the licensing committee. So again, agenda item number 8 is going to be reversed to an objection. As you can see, we rejected agenda item number 9. And that was because there was a reported shooting for the request that they're making for an all-night permit. So PD was really against this particular item to be approved, and that is the sport bar, I'm sorry, at 2011 Street. That used to be 1111. So that's why that particular application was rejected. The rest of it is pretty much straightforward, not much issue. And on that note, I'd like to open the floor for some questions. Saying none, Madam Chair, thank you so much. You all have a happy holidays. I see Liz, I'm sorry before I.
Question, this is an expression of gratitude. Thank you to the chair for the due diligence on Guadalupe and making sure that there was no conflict on the fact that we're having the party there this week and we're voting on them. And I just, that level of observation of detail and just making sure that we're always doing the right thing and doing things in a way that doesn't look like there's anything wrong. I just really appreciate that.
Go chair, let's have fun.
All right, that was quick. Anthony, can we switch?
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to take a moment just to plug also, if you have not yet done so, please note on the sheet at the folding table if you are attending the holiday party. Write either yes or no on the RSVP sheet, and those online, if you could either respond to the email the office sent you or notify the office, that'd be great for a final head count. Like every month, I'm just going to go down in alphabetical order. So when you hear a name, please state for the record how you are voting. Jamirna Alkader, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes to all. Okay, Marielle, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Richard Allman, how do you vote? Okay. Mary Anderson, how do you vote? Mary votes yes to all. Jay Biles, how do you vote? Jay votes yes to all. Radia, how do you vote? Radia votes yes to all. Wayne, how do you vote? Wayne votes yes to all. Jim, how do you vote?
Very complicated. I vote no on 7. And then for the group between 9 and 24, that bunch, I'm voting yes to 9, 10, 11, and 22. And all of the rest of them, I'm voting no to of that group from 9 to 24, and everything else I vote in favor.
Okay, I'm going to repeat that for the record. So Jim is voting no on 7, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, and 24, and yes to the rest.
Right.
No problem. Hector, how do you vote?
Yes, all.
Thank you. James Bosley, how do you vote? Is James in the room? No, he must have stepped out. Okay. Eleazar, how do there, okay. Daryl, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Daryl votes yes to all. Darling, how do you, Darling's on the committee. Nobles, how do you vote? Nobles votes yes to all. Robin, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Chair, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Chair votes yes to all. Noemi, how do you vote? Noemi votes yes to all. Domingo, how do you vote? Domingo votes yes to all. Skipping Owen. Luana, how do you vote?
All.
Luana votes yes to all. Sonia, how do you vote?
Exception 6 and no to 9 to 21. 9 is a negative resolution.
Yeah, so for resolution 9, we are objecting. And yes to the rest. Okay, Sonia is voting no on items 10 through 24. And yes to the rest. John Francis, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Albert Frazier, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Jonathan Fermetta, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Tanisha, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Thank you. Heidi Guzman, how do you vote? Heidi votes yes to all. Jody, how do you vote? Jody votes yes to all. Leo, how do you vote?
Yes to all. Thank you, Anthony.
Percy, how do you vote? Percy votes yes to all. Alexis, how do you vote? Alexis votes yes to all. Tracy, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Thank you. Cedro, how do you vote?
I vote on 19 and 20 to the conflict, that's their part of my bid, and I'm excited by it there. Yes to all.
Cedro is conflicted from voting on items 19 and 20 due to them being members of his bid, and he is voting yes to the rest. Skipping Carmen, Indiana, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Liz, how do you vote?
5, 12, and 13. I'm on the board of a small nonprofit, and those establishments donated to our last fundraiser. And I'm voting no on 15 and yes to the rest.
Thank you. Liz is conflicted from voting on items 5, 12, and 13 due to them donating to a nonprofit that she serves on the board of. She's voting no on 15 and yes to the rest. Bruce, how do you vote? Bruce votes yes to all. Carl, how do you vote? Carl votes yes to all. I vote yes to all. This one goes over here, so how do you wanna deal with the remaining? Did I miss anyone who's either in the room? Oh, Richard, yes, how do you vote?
I will vote yes to all.
Richard votes yes to all, and we're just waiting for the members of the nominating committee to return. Yeah, I don't know if I have the authority to make that decision. Did I miss anyone online? Okay, thank you. Eleazar votes yes to all. Carmen, how do you vote? Carmen votes yes to all. I still need the other 3 members of your committee. Do you want to have like one of the committee report or like if any of them have an announcement? Do any committee chairs have announcements they'd like to share in the meantime? Would any committee chairs have announcements they'd like to share? Okay, Nobles. Okay, sorry, they came back. Owen, how do you vote? Owen votes yes to all. Darling votes yes to all. I just need James at some point. Yeah, I took Daryl. Yeah, yeah, you voted. Alright.
I have to, I'm not voting on the couple of them.
You have to what?
I'm not voting on a few of these for conflict. Okay. Number 12, 13, and number 5. They are supporter dog property, which I am a member.
Okay, are you voting yes? Got it. Are you voting yes to the rest? Okay, James is conflicted from voting on items 5, 12, and 13 as he serves on the board of a nonprofit that they donate to, and he's voting yes to the rest. That concludes the roll call.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, yeah, so right after Noble.
You can do it. You can do it. I'm just a task force. You're a whole committee.
Oh, right.
So for youth and education, we're changing our meetings to the second Thursday of every month now, starting at 6:30. So that's the only announcement we have. Mondays didn't necessarily work for us because it seems to be like every other month. There's a holiday on a Monday. So in this past year, we've only had 3 meetings on a Monday, yet we're supposed to meet on Monday. So the committee came together and we voted on replacement day. So just to inform everybody, the second Thursday of every month now, we'll be having our meetings at 6:30. Yes.
This is not a serious question, but what does the other guy look like?
No, this is, I just had surgery on the deviated septum. So the other guy looks like I'm finally gonna be able to breathe. They fixed my septum and opened up my respiratory because I wasn't able to breathe from my left side since I was like 13, so they fixed it. All right.
Jokes about balls playing.
Yeah, but the other guy would have
Hey guys, it's Nobles Crawford from the chair of the Marijuana Task Force, Northern Manhattan. Shout out to all of my community members and happy holidays to everyone here. Just real quick, as you probably remember from last meeting, we were going to review an application for our 4th legal marijuana dispensary here in Northern Manhattan. And we took a look, and at the time, the candidate would not show, and that's one of our rules. Like if you are looking to get a license, which deviates a little bit from the amazing licensing rules, but since it's a young industry, we want to make sure the folks that are getting licenses are like represented in here in person as they go through their application. So the person did not show up, and could have been miscommunication or what have you, whatever. But we still had a productive meeting. We reviewed this application, gave him a lot of notes. So it's a good thing that he actually wasn't there, because it probably wouldn't have gone through the way it was, to be quite honest. I would recommend everyone take a look at the video, because this person is coming back likely in January for us to review his updated marijuana application in person. And so if you have any questions on what that process looks like, because it's very new to our community, I know there's some new folks here and maybe some listening, definitely take a look at the video and you can see the work being done on behalf of the folks welcoming new marijuana dispensaries in our neighborhood. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to say for the aging committee that, one of the things that we've done in the past, and we have picked up on it again, are reaching out to the seniors in the community by having our meetings, some of our meetings at the senior centers, because those folks are not able to come to us to travel to get to the board office. So we've found that it's better for us to get to them if we can. So we had our last meeting last week at the Star Senior Center on 187 between Broadway and Wadsworth. And we had 54. That's 54 attendees. Plus the committee. So, that says it all. That's all I can say. So our next meeting is going to be January 2nd. We don't have a presenter yet, but we're working on it. So the agenda will be a little delayed, but I wanted to wish everybody happy holidays. Thank you.
Any other committee chairs? It was like, yeah.
Yes, Kathy, if I can just quick announcement. MTA will be having a reduced fare Omni presentation at one of our local senior centers, the ARC Senior Center, on Thursday at 12 p.m. For all community patrons to attend. They also have a webinar on Friday, which I forwarded to the board. I can also forward it to any members if they have anybody interested. During our committee meeting this past month, we had DOT present the Dykeman proposed bike lanes. They came, they gave us a presentation. We had some concerns mainly around parking in the area. So I had a walkthrough with DOT Commissioner Ed Pinkard today, Councilmember De La Rosa, State Assembly Member Manny De Los Santos, amongst other community patrons, including restaurant owners in the area. We all came to consensus that it's a lot going on. There's other possibilities that we can have in this area. So they're going back to the drawing board. They're going to come with another proposal in the immediate area, which we think is a little more plausible and won't hurt the businesses as much. So we continue working, and we hope to see as many people, just like Mary's committee, at our meeting. I think it's important for us to show out in numbers when it comes to these topics. Again, we're here to advocate, so we want to make sure that these agencies act on it. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other committees? Today, I don't know what it is with time or it's the energy in the room. I'm like, oh, it's only 8:30, and we're basically just waiting for nominating committee.
Jackie, tell them about my award.
Tanisha, tell them so.
It's better when somebody else does.
Okay, so yes, shout out portion. So definitely Mary, if folks, the fact that there was 50 folks in person is incredible. We haven't had that in a while, except when we have these really major projects. We can always go to places where people are around. So if that's of interest, just we gotta set that up in committees so that we can make sure the office can coordinate on the logistics. As for Tanisha's announcement this Sunday, I might mess up the name, so interrupt me. But Tanisha this Sunday is being awarded the Presidential Service Award that is given every year by the president. But so this is by President Biden. This Sunday she's being recognized for her work. And what I think also another layer of extra special, it's apparently the first time that it's ever happened in Harlem. So the fact that, you know, she gets to be awarded in the uptown community for the work that she does in Harlem is incredibly special. So it's amazing that one of them
Congrats, Tanisha.
recognized at a national level. So thank you, Tanisha. Yes.
We need like 5 more.
Okay, they need 5 minutes. Any other shout outs or anybody else got any? Oh, Maria has. Go ahead, go for any announcements.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. Yes, a couple quick things. One, you may all know that there are 4 lotteries currently open in our community on Housing Connect. Do take a look in case you qualify, share with your neighbors and friends. I think, you know, one of the things that we always talk about, particularly on Housing Connect, is that a lot of the times, not many of the opportunities have really been up here in Inwood and Washington Heights. So it's really good to see that some of them are there. I guess the other side of that coin is a conversation that, you know, we always talk about around, you know, these so-called affordable housing units. And when you look at it, it's like 130% AMI, which is ridiculous. So do come to our January meeting where we're actually meant to have some of the developers join us for our meetings. That's an opportunity for you all to talk to them, hear directly from them, ask why things are at 130% AMI. And really kind of, you know, engage in a constructive conversation with these developers in our community. The other thing I wanted to flag is we are working on a Know Your Rights event for our migrant families. So kind of stay tuned on more details for that. Once we have kind of details sorted, we'll be sure to share that. And the other thing in terms of just a forward look for 2025, we're looking to do or start doing some early engagement on the rent guidelines board. That's always a big issue as well. So do stay tuned for opportunities to get involved in that work early on. Thank you.
Thanks, Mario. I guess I should play some hard music. Oh, it's on the menu for Thursday. So, I feel like Chakai. I'm like, I'm gonna start saying like, oh, what's up, chat? So chat. What we have going on Thursday, essentially there'll be like a shared appetizer, so kind of like family style appetizer. And then I think also it was tough this time around. I think one because of cost, but also just the options at a lot of our local restaurants were a little bit more limited this time around. I don't know what happened, but basically you can choose any entree you like on the menu, and there are substitutions. They are able to adjust and accommodate dairy-free and vegan and vegetarian meals. So hence why we really wanted to go with that, because folks have more options to pick. And that's included. And also I have to recognize Hector, Carmen, and for helping out. Hector has planned himself the ugly sweater competition. So I'm hideous.
Ugly sweater.
Yes. Well, what could I say? There is an ugly sweater competition with a prize. Yeah, so you're encouraged to participate. There will be a trophy. And there'll be some, you know, games. I think there'll be, sometimes we do have like our networking spaces, but this is going to be like a more sit down restaurant, dinner, excuse me. So we'll have kind of more relaxed time to chat. Yeah.
Is the accessibility checked out?
Guadalupe, yeah. Guadalupe, yes. Guadalupe, yes. That's why we also chose that location, because the space, it's
It's a ground level storefront, and so, and pretty big, so it's the aisles aren't as constrained as in the other ones, and it's ADA. The bathrooms as well, they're straightforward, and those are on different levels, but I can, yeah, they have to have accessible bathrooms, yeah.
Last time I this place wasn't.
Okay.
It's upstairs. Okay.
Okay. They're back, come on back, we're just waiting for you guys.
Hi. You wanna come?
And we are back. Okay, are we good? Wonderful. So thank you all for your participation this evening in voting for our new executive board, once again, whose term will run from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Thank you so much for the candidates, for your time, and for being willing to take on this role. It's really wonderful. And thank you to the nominating committee, Eleazar, Darley, Erwin, and James. You all have been truly wonderful. And thank you for those online who've just been sticking it out. So I'll go ahead now and read the results. For position of Assistant Secretary, we received 34 votes and 3 abstentions. Daryl, congratulations. You're the Assistant Secretary. For the position of Secretary, 0 abstentions, and Alexis Marnell received 37 votes. Congratulations, Alexis. For the position of Treasurer, there were 0 abstentions, and Leo Jimenez received 37 votes. Congratulations, Leo. For the position of Second Vice Chair, there were 4 abstentions, and Tanisha Grant received 33 votes. Congratulations, Tanisha. For the position of First Vice Chair, there were 0 abstentions. Anthony Viola received 37 votes. Congratulations, Anthony. For the position of Chair, 0 abstentions. Kathy Diaz received 37 votes. And you can all join me in congratulating the new executive board. Thank you all. Happy holidays and have a wonderful evening. See you at the holiday party. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a great agendas and items will be updated on the website.
Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays.
Thank you.